Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Executive Espresso. We're here every Friday, barring any unforeseen circumstances, guest cancellations, for Executive Espresso, where we bring you guys some actionable shoe leather psychology for your daily walk, your daily challenges. And today we have a great guy from a great account with a great story from Johannes, Geek from Scratch. And by the way, we'll show you how to spell that. It's not what you think. And we're going to be talking about some latest trends for 2025 in tech, how you guys can begin to leverage AI. You know, it's the big talk of the planet for enhanced personal productivity, you know, just kind of leveling up some productivity, even at the family and personal level. How maybe you could turn a tech hobby like Johannes has into a profitable venture, but then throughout all that, how do you stay balanced? You know, amidst all these challenging times, how do you stay balanced? How do you deal with tough critics and still stay true to your vision? So, and at the end of it, we're going to leave you guys with a shoe leather psychology, actionable affirmation that hopefully you can take into the weekend and level up your life. But Johannes, it's so great to see you here today. At Geek,
Hi.
good to see you, my friend. At Geek from Scratch. And by the way, I spelled that wrong half a dozen times last night, and I noticed that it's not SCRATCH. In place of the C, there's an S at Geek from Scratch.
Yeah,
SH.
the other name was occupied, so I had to change up a little.
That's very creative. Well, tell us about you. I mean, you post some, I think, some wonderful content on X. That, you know, to me, I think it's very inspiring. And so, tell us how you got into all this tech business and how you chose the Geek from Scratch handle.
Yeah, for sure. I always been into tech. I started programming with C sharp. No, wait, C++, like 20 years ago, something like that. And then kind of fall off the wagon a little and had a tech break for around 10 years or so. Then started with Python a little for personal projects and things. Like we build little games for our beer weekends with friends and these things. And then it's always been a part of my life and always been something I've been fascinated about. And when the rise of AI got more interested because you can learn so much faster. If you get stuck in a code, for example, you can leverage AI like ChatGPT to help you get out of the problem, and you can learn the solutions much faster. So it's always been a fascination, and that's kind of where my name come from, Geek from Scratch. I like to geek down in things, and when you start with some new programming language or other tech, you always start from scratch, and I like to geek into it. So then, like geek from scratch. So that's kind of my handle name come from that.
Man, nothing wrong with being a geek. I'm a psychology geek, a cognitive neuroscience geek, a geek of just human life. But you said something really interesting that I've not heard someone say before. I think a lot of people view AI as a done for you kind of toolkit. So you get to stop doing things and you just turn it over to AI. And what you just said was that AI is a learning tool where it's not
Yes.
done for you, it's done with you, and you can enhance your own learning. So, what are some tips for people out there listening today? Ways that they could use AI not to do it for them, but to help them get better at doing it?
I would say if you're like starting out, or if you have like a project you're building, we say if you start with Python and you want to build like a simple calculator for learning the process, and you get stuck in something, don't go ask AI to solve the problem. Ask the question like, hey, why do I have this problem? Why is this not working? And tell ChatGPT, for example, that don't show me the answer, but explain to me how I can change up my code for find the solution. Because if people leverage the AI and always tell, I need an answer for this, I need this, you're never gonna learn. You get stuck in the AI, and the day AI maybe be ChatGPT is down, and your work relies on, and you rely on that answer for your work or something, it's gonna be a deep problem.
And I think that's such timely advice because as we're talking, and it's so great that you're on Executive Espresso today, because all that I hear people talking about using AI for is taking over their job, doing their job for them, and there's so many things that AI will never be able to do for you, or even if it could, it may not be better for you. For instance, let's just take a workout program. You could work with AI and come out with a workout program, but AI cannot lift the weight for you. AI cannot
No.
eat your food for you. AI cannot raise your children for you. You could ask AI how to be a better basketball player or golf player, but AI can't swing the club for you or shoot the basketball for you. So, Johannes, I really do appreciate you saying that because I think many people listening, either live and in the replay, and by the way, if you're live, go ahead and put some questions for Johannes up there in the chat. I have the chat open here, and I will drop them on the screen. When you drop a question, I'll move it over to the screen. Hey, you can just say good morning if you'd like. But if you have a question for Johannes or myself, just put that in the chat. If it's after the show, then you can put it in the feed for the broadcast, and I will come back, and Johannes will come back and answer those questions. But there's so many things I think we can use AI instead of a do-it-for-us machine. Can use it as a bit of a tutor or a personal coach to help us level up. So on that, how have you or how do you see AI maybe enhancing your life other than coding and programming to move your life forward and teaching you things that otherwise the learning curve would have been much greater?
I kind of use it for almost anything I need. If I get stuck in something and I need ideas, I use it as a something to bounce off ideas with, to research some other ideas. My content, I usually research my post for X on ChatGPT, and then I take the content and refine it so it has a personal touch. So I kind of use it for everything. Sometimes even for buying, doing my grocery list when I'm lazy. It's like I want to
How do
cook
you
something
use
cool, and
how do you use AI for a grocery list?
if I have an idea of something I want to eat, for example, I want to try a new barbecue, and I want, we say, mushrooms, corn, and I want this kind of meat. Give me a recipe and a shopping list for something cool I can make. And usually it gets pretty interesting. And you can even put in, if you're on a budget, like, okay, it can't cost more than, say, $20, or if you're a little more, like $50, or and it gives you pretty accurate suggestions and things. So it's kind of fun to play around with. Like, if you're gonna have a party, it's like you can plan. Hey, I want to do a party with. We have 10 guests. I need a recipe for. I want to do a fun, Mexican dish. Include these ingredients and give me the recipe and the shopping list, and it puts everything up in a good list. So I'm gonna go buy it, and you have everything done. Have the recipe and everything. It's only home and cooking then.
I'd forgotten about that. I'm a big pancake lover, but I didn't know that we ran out of my favorite pancake mix. And so I got on AI and I said, here's what I have available: eggs and coconut milk and some Bisquick and some, protein powder, whatever, some fiber, some psyllium fiber. I said, give me a world class pancake recipe using these ingredients. And it did, and I made the pancakes. But let me just say, the AI did not make my pancakes for me. I still had to mix it up. I still had to put it in the skillet. And so again, let AI help you to learn, not do things for you. And I have a friend of
Yes.
mine, Taylor. Taylor's a great friend of mine on X, and he does some really weird things on AI that I think are just fascinating. He has resurrected, for you believers out there, he has resurrected Paul the apostle, and ask questions about Paul. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And is having ongoing conversations with Paul the apostle from Scripture to give him tips on how to live a relevant, on track, believer based life. And so, the sky's really the limit. I think we're really just at the beginning.
Yeah.
But I think the low level thing again is to have AI, do things for you. So let me skip on ahead here because you don't just post about AI. You have a lot of really great graphics and things like that, but also
Yeah.
you post some very inspirational things. Why are you posting all the inspirational things?
The motivation comes from sometimes I lack the motivation myself, and I kind of like to help people that struggle with the same thing as me, like lack of motivation, sometimes feel a little down, a little negative. So I like to share positive things and try to help other people that maybe feel down, feel a little unmotivated, to see things from other perspective and other ways of life, and kind of the things that helps me. So I hope someday it helps somebody else too.
I think it does. It helped me. I enjoyed looking at your inspirational posts and things like that. And that's yet another tip for AI. So if you're learning something that's really, really incredible, and AI is helping you learn something really, really incredible, again, it's not just AI, it's you. So AI may be in the mix, if you're a pancake, AI is in the mix, but you want to
Yeah.
share out more of you than AI. Let us see you. Like that's what Johannes is doing online with a Geek from Scratch, and he's sharing out things that he's discovered. And so for me, I think, and I do the same thing. I will ask AI things like, I'm a big history buff. If you pitted Napoleon against Alexander the Great in a modern battle, who would win? And
Oh, it can be interesting.
I've got some interesting results on that. Um, and so I'll ask it questions about history. But if you find things that are in your area of interest, then I can promise you it's probably in someone else's area of interest. But don't just let AI spit it out and copy and paste, personalize it. Well, let's talk a little bit about how you master balance in this, hectic modern age. In all your inspirational posts, what are some things that you found really, really work for you?
Uh, Time management is something I have really tried to learn and be better with. So before I kind of struggle with find balance for my ex account, work. I'm married, so spending time with my wife and these kind of things. But time management, like now I work 45 minutes. I work from home all day, so I work 45 minutes. Then I take 15 minutes to either hang out with my wife if she's not busy with her work, or answer comment on my ex account. Then I do 45 minutes again. So I do work 45 minutes, like hobbies and the family 15 minutes. That have helped me a lot to get a structure and also a happy wife. That's it. I
Happy
think
wife,
time
happy life.
management. Yeah, I think time management is the most important thing to have in everything, in every aspect of life.
Everybody has the same known quantity of hours and minutes during the day. It's not how much you have, it's how you use it. And so, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I think another thing that can do that dawns on me is I think anytime you share out strategies like this, there's a little bit of accountability. And so, another tip that I have, and hey there, Richard, good to see you here. Good to see Jeremy here. Thank you so much. And I'm putting your comments on the screen here again. If you guys have any question for Johannes or myself, put those in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. We're going to be wrapping up here in the next 3 to 4 minutes, so don't hesitate to do that. But I find that when you share things that you've learned, that it results in accountability for you. Your brain pays attention to you sharing it with other people. But the greatest person that you can be congruent and accountable to is yourself. And
yeah,
so I would see another use for AI is as a reminder to be accountable to what I promised myself to do. Because before you make a promise to your wife, you've really made a promise to yourself. Before you make a promise to your child, you've already made a promise to yourself. So if you don't do it, you're not just breaking a promise to them, you're breaking a promise to yourself. And have you used the task feature yet? Of like ChatGPT now has a task feature.
No, I haven't tried that one out yet.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's oh 01 or it could be oh oh. I lose track of the versions, but there's a task feature that you can have it remind you of commitments that you've made. And by the way, some of you that
Hmm.
follow me on X, you realize that we've talked about how the brain itself pays attention to the promises that you make. And Jeremy just put up there. I made a promise to God. That's like crinkle. uh, 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 but that's a third type of promise. So the more people that you're transparent with and let them know what you're working on. So let me ask you, Johannes, do you talk with your wife about these commitments, and do you give her permission to hold you accountable to these promises?
Oh yes, she really hold me accountable for my promises.
How are
We're
you
kind of the
doing with that?
same.
Yeah,
I do
how are you
pretty
doing with
good.
those with that accountability?
Pretty good so far. So far, pretty happy wives.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we have kind of the same goals and same workflow, so we kind of balance each other pretty good.
How long have you guys been together?
Married 5 years and no, wait, married 4 years and together 5 years.
Congratulations. That is fantastic. Well, then let me ask you, since you've been married 5 years, I was going to ask you something about tech, but I'll ask you something about relationships. What's the number one thing that you think that you had wrong about relationships uh, 6 years ago that you've corrected that misconception in your mind?
But true love don't exist. I never believed in that before until I met my wife, and I felt I had the wrong perspective on true love. I think true love is not. It's the same. You have the same mindset. You feel happy with the person you are with, and that I think that is really important that you have.
Exactly. Relationships and love. Love is not something you find. Love is something that you plant and you create it. You plant it, you water it, you
Yes,
nurture it, you literally create it. No, I mean, it doesn't sound sexy, but not love at first sight, infatuation at first sight,
yes.
but not love at first sight. That's something that's created. What would you say is your top mental struggle right now? What's the thing that you're struggling with most right now?
Right now is a little bit of procrastination.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to get away from that. How do you think? So, for all those people out there that procrastinate, you think there may be an AI coaching helpfulness methodology for that?
I tried a few different approaches, but I think the only way to kill the procrastination is kick yourself in the butt and just get up and do it. Because when you start, it feels better, and you feel like, fine, I should have started sooner.
And give your
So I think,
wife permission to kick you in the butt. Not literally, maybe, but
yeah,
yeah, to say, hey, remind me. I do that with my wife. I'm giving you permission to stay on my back until I get this done. And she is so very good at that. She is a world champion, Olympic level reminder. Do this, do this, do this. Next, 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 next. I mean, she is so task oriented. Well, guys, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate all the interaction in the chat there. I tried to put all the. Here's one that Jeremy put up there. I'm sorry if it all doesn't get out there on screen. But we'll be back next Friday with another guest. You guys, if you want to enhance your mindset, jump over to Mindset Masterclass. That is school.com, spelled SKOOL, school.com/mindset, school.com/mindset. There it is at the top, school.com/mindset. Free memberships for life. Hop over, grab one, join the conversation. Johannes, how can they get in touch with you? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
my Twitter account, Geek from Scratch. I have DMs open for my followers, so if you have any questions, only send me a DM and I get back as soon as I can.
What a wonderful man. I'm sure you're making a wonderful husband and you have an amazing wife. And make sure you spell it right, guys. It's not scratch like you think, like I thought. I misspelled it 6 times last night. And then luckily I zoomed in. I was, oh crap, that's not a C, that's an S. So it's Geek from Scratch, SCRATSH. And so,
Yeah.
Johannes, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for
Congratulations
having me.
on the half of a decade. You guys keep up the good work. Take all the exit signs out of your relationships, guys. No exits, just work. Another thing AI can't do for you is AI can't do your relationship for you. It's got to be you. So
Yes.
jump in there and get the job done. Thanks for joining. See you guys next time.
Thanks for having.
Thank you. Bye bye now.